I'm Josh Light with PoliticIt.com here in Maine with Andrew Dodge, U.S. candidate for Senate,
Yeah,
who's
Andrew
Libertarian
Ian
candidate.
Dodge, if you don't mind. That's my brand, man. There are lots of Andrew Dodges in Maine, and I have to use the full name, and it's my brand. It's what I'm running under.
So, Andrew Ian Dodge,
Yes, sir.
tell us the difference between you and your competitors in this race.
Well, I'm the only Liberty candidate. I'm the only Libertarian who's fiscally conservative and socially liberal, but not in the sense of having the state pay for everything. We the race, the establishment candidates are all varieties of the same. They're all kind of a gray mush. Some are a bit slightly more socialistic, and others are a bit slightly more free market, but they all believe in big government. They all believe in high taxes. They all believe in the U.S. being the policeman of the world. They all believe that that government has a role in meddling in people's lives. They all believe that the government should dictate what you put in your bodies, and they're all meddlers in big government, corporatists in one way or the other.
Andrew, what issues are people concerned about here in Maine?
Well, obviously, we have the gay marriage initiative, which looks like it's winning so far, even though lots of money is being pumped in. Maine is very socially libertarian, but obviously everybody cares about jobs because Maine isn't doing that well, and neither are lots of other states. But you go up and down the high streets, and there are lots of closed up buildings and businesses that are closed, and it's tough to find a job in Maine right now. And Maine, a bit like Ireland in the 90s and the 80s, its biggest export is its people, and you find the college system educating people, and they can't find jobs in their selected fields. And I'm not just talking about the doctorate in sociology. I'm talking about real degrees in engineering and everything else, and they have to go to the state. So the state is suffering because that tax base continues to move out, and it really hasn't changed since my father left in the early 60s.
How do we fix this unemployment problem?
Well, obviously, as a libertarian, I say lower taxes, flat tax preferably, get rid of a lot of regulation, close a lot of huge government agencies that just get in the way and and cost a lot of money and don't actually produce anything. I mean, in Maine, we have a case of Farmer Brown. This guy sold raw milk to a neighbor and got arrested and charged with a felony because he was he was selling an illicit product, raw milk. That's pretty bad, and it's that sort of thing that is hurting jobs. And obviously, there's the ACA, the Obamacare, which increased all kinds of regulation and expense on companies, and they don't know what's going on. And rather than reducing healthcare costs, it's driving them up. And of course, the Republicans say they're going to overturn it if they get in, maybe because they've got a presidential candidate who actually came up with the idea in the first place. So there's a lot of uncertainty. And we libertarians believe less government is a better economy, happier people, and more productive people.
Where do you stand on foreign policy?
I think we had a right to go into Afghanistan since the Al Qaeda attacked us, but I'm not a big fan of, let's say, nation building. When America goes in and says, we know what's best for this country, we can turn them into an American democracy so they're just like the state of Nevada or whatever. Well, actually, Nevada is probably a bad example. The state of Minnesota. We got to realize that places like Afghanistan is not called the graveyard of empires for a reason. I mean, they couldn't, the tribes couldn't be overtaken by the Russians, Genghis Khan. I believe the Mongols tried it, Alexander the Great, the British Empire, and we go in there going, oh, yes, we're going to make them all, Democrats and caring and sharing right away. It's not going to happen. And I think the arrogance of a lot of Americans, and Charlie Summers is one of them, who thinks that the American way of life is best. It may be best, but people don't like, a country invading them and saying everything you're doing is wrong, you have to do it our way. And we can't afford it. We got a $16 trillion debt. We need to deal with the debt and deficit, and then maybe we can think about foreign aid, maybe. We need to shut down foreign aid, end most of it, if not all of it. I mean, look at the stupid situation we got now. We're giving money to Pakistan, who's giving it to the ISI, their secret service, who are giving it to the Taliban, who are giving it to Al-Qaeda to kill us. And, normally when the mob did it, if you paid the money, they didn't beat you up. They didn't burn down your business. In this case, they're hitting them up, asking for protection money, and then they still turn around and kill us anyway. Why are we giving them this so much money? It makes no sense when large parts of the country are suffering. Wouldn't it be better to lower taxes and have a flat tax and have Americans keep the money that's going away in foreign aid to spend in their local communities, on their families, on their own lives, improving their lives? It would increase jobs as well.
Now, when we looked at the data in this race, we looked at your IT score and we looked at other candidates' IT score. Angus King had the highest IT score, but you weren't far behind. What have you done since June to increase your digital influence?
Well, I'm using all the platforms there are. There are new ones like Quora and all the rest of them, which explain where you can increase your scores online, social media, and I'm also trying to engage as much as possible. Obviously, as we're going to talk about later, the Ron Paul effect after Tampa has helped a lot, because instead of just merely concentrating on Ron Paul, a lot of those people are retweeting my stuff, and that's helped me a hell of a lot. I've added far more friends personally and campaign and everything else. I'm even getting retweets now from as far away as Israel and the UK and even Russia. I mean, it's spreading, and I think that's what's helping me, because my message is resonating, and the messenger for a lot of people got shot down and brutally crushed in Tampa. Unfortunate for them, but fortunate for libertarians like me, Gary Johnson and I.
So how's your campaign going right now?
It's going well. As I said to your colleague Shelby, every time the chairman of the Republican Party in Maine opens his mouth and says that libertarians and Ron Paul people are not welcome, I get more requests for signs, and people friend me and follow me and everything else. So it's going from strength to strength. I'm getting a lot of interest, and I think it's going to continue being a very interesting race. A journalist said, how journalists hums and haws, but he thinks there's a good chance I'll get 5%. Now, and as we know from this race, a lot can happen in a month and a half.
Where can people go to learn more about you?
www.dodge4senate. They can follow me on Twitter at Dodge4Senate. There's a theme here. On YouTube, Dodge4Senate. They can follow me personally, Andrew Ian Dodge, at Lagwolf on Twitter, Andrew Ian Dodge on Facebook, Andrew Ian Dodge for U.S. Senate on Facebook for my campaign. There are probably other social media sites we're on Pinterest and everything else, but if you look for Dodge for Senate on anything, you'll find us.
Well, thanks for meeting with us.
My pleasure.